Video is how to make 2 large loaves of challah bread.
I've got 6 cups of bread flour here. You can use high glucose flour, but I couldn't find that around here, so I just used and this works out just fine. And then we're going to add about a half cup of sugar to it, and then
Kosher salt.
about this much salt. And then you can leave it like that, or you can add cinnamon. My synagogue likes cinnamon, so just a couple of squirts there. And then I always mix this up really good first to get the cinnamon all mixed up, and the sugar and stuff evenly, and the salt. Just because it's easier to do it when it's dry than to do it when it's wet. And then we're going to make a well in the center of this, and that's where we're going to put our wet ingredients, is in the center. And then in this well, we're going to put 2 eggs, a cup of water,
Warm water.
and a quarter of a cup of oil, and a quarter of a cup of honey. And I'll be right back after I do that. As you see, I've got the 2 eggs underneath the water, and you want the warm water, which is like baby bath temperature, and then a quarter cup of oil, and then we're going to put, I do the water, then the oil, and then the honey, because the oil being before the honey, it comes out of the measuring cup a little easier. Taking a minute for my honey to come down. I got a big bottle and it's getting low. Just one moment. Alright, it's almost there. Alright, and a quarter of a cup of honey. And it will pretty much just slide out because of the oil, as you saw, it just gooed out. Alright? And then all you have to do from here is we'll add the yeast that we set aside and the warm on the stove to get warm. We'll add it. And then you're also going to use a half a cup of oil, but you're going to add it gradually, a little at a time, as you're doing it. And I always use the oil on my hands because it helps to get it off my hands when I'm cleaning, when I'm doing the bread. And my yeast is risen, so it's ready to pour it in. And then from here, you're just going to use that half a cup of oil, put some on your hand to start with, and just start kneading and mixing this, getting all the flour mixed with the wet. This will take a few minutes, and it will get really rough, and we'll have to set it aside for 10 minutes in a warm place to soften up a little bit to finish kneading it. You just gradually keep adding the oil as we go. Trying to get all of this dry ingredient up. As you can see, some of it's already starting to come off my hands. You get a workout. And this is usually um, the time that women set aside for prayers for their family, um, prayers for the sick, any type of thing like that. This is the time that we would do that. We would do prayer time. And you can see it's starting to come together into a ball. And it's starting to get really tough. So we've got all the flour up, so we're going to let that sit in a warm place for 10 minutes to soften up, and we'll finish kneading it. After it's kneaded, then you're going to set it aside for 1 hour in a warm place to rise. It's set at 10 minutes, and now we're just going to finish kneading it until it's in a nice little bowl here. Now see how it's coming together better. So you will just alright. And you want to put a little oil on your fingers and rub on top. And you're going to set it so it doesn't dry out some. You're going to set this aside covered for 1 hour in a warm place. I usually like put it on top of my oven for an hour. So, because the top of the oven's warm. So I will cover this up and then go set it. After the hour, the bread has risen some. So we're going to put a little bit of oil on your hands. Then you're going to punch it down to get any air bubbles out. And you're going to turn it and stuff. You just want to punch it down basically to get air bubbles. Then you're going to put a little bit of oil on top and let it set for 1 hour again.
Sorry for the buffering problems.
And after you let it set for 1 hour in a warm spot again, you're basically going to do the same thing, punch it down, and then we'll be ready to braid it and bake it. Alright, it's had the extra hour to rise. You're going to beat it down and get the air bubbles out. Then we can actually take it out here. And this makes 2 large loaves. So what I'm going to do is like half it, just by sort of seeing it here. Half it in 2. Pieces here. Alright, then what we're going to do is take this piece and try to get it sort of even, because we're going to split it into thirds. Because this is 3 pieces that are braided together that make this. Sorry about the noise in the background. My husband's cooking breakfast while I'm working on the bread. Some people it's easier probably to use a knife to cut it. I just use my fingers. That way I can sort of try to get it pretty even in the size of ball.
Sorry for the buffering.
Alright, and I'm going to show you both ways to do this. Alright, so you take the 3 pieces and you're just going to squeeze it to try to get any air bubbles out. And you want to make it sort of in a chain here. And you're just going to roll it out like this with your hands to a snake, worm, whatever you want to call it. So, and you want to do 3 of them like that, to about the length, a little bit longer than what you need. And you heard it pop. You hear the air bubbles pop. And you just make them about the same length.
And width.
There we go. And the last one.
This first one is the traditional challah braiding.
Shrunk a little. Alright, now you're just going to pinch these 3 corners together at one end to braid, and then you're going to just start braiding like you would hair, back and forth, back and forth. And that would be your challah. Right there. You would just tuck these corners under like that. And that would be your first piece of challah. And that would be for the regular challah right here. For the crown, it has to be rolled out a little bit longer. The only difference with the crown, it would be longer because it goes under itself. You would just take the 2 corners and you would flip.
And I will actually show
them
you this.
Under and do a knot, and it would make a crown. That's the only difference with it. Alright. And then you bake this with perfect directions till it's golden brown. You'll take the extra egg that beaten up and put with the brush on top, and then sesame seeds or poppy seeds or none if you don't want anything. Thank you for watching. We have our egg wash here, and we're just going to take it and just go over the bread with the brush, very thick. You want plenty of egg on here. You're just going to generously do it all over the bread. Make sure you get in all the holes. It's not easy with one hand. And make sure you get on the sides and around the bottoms. All the little crevices. This will make it golden brown. This challah needs to be nice and golden brown. And then all you will do is take your sesame seed and just sprinkle on the top.